down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy Investors? You tuned in. I'm glad. I've been a little behind. I don't know how many times I got to say that to wake up. But today's episode, bang, bang, you tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. My name is who? Big Savvy. VC, VanCauwenbergh, Stephen VanCauwenbergh to be short. Anyway, day in the trenches. It hasn't been easy. It's not easy, okay? And I know, I make it sound easy, up to almost to 500 episodes. You may see me in a class or speak somewhere, and I act like it's easy, but it's really not, okay? If you really want to be wealthy or live your dream, sometimes you're going to hit some road blocks. Sometimes somebody's going to take advantage of you. Sometimes someone's going to steal from you, and that's just life in general. It's just how you deal with it is the most important thing. Remember, it's who you become. Now, lately I'm like, what is my priority? What am I trying to do? Why am I doing these things? Why am I doing the radio show? Why am I missing out on things that I really want to do? What's the point? So I was realizing, why am I in this lull? And why do I keep going up high and come down? So, I work with several successful entrepreneurs, and I noticed that some people, entrepreneurs in general, high achievers in general, deal with maybe anxiety or they deal with depression. And then, I've been studying how does that happen? How do you get out of it? And how do you keep rolling? That's kind of been on my mind for the last couple of months. Some really good friends of mine struggle with success. And I know for myself, I struggle with success. When I got to 100 units, I was kind of bummed. I was like, wow, what's next? And then I set a goal for 300 units. Then I set a goal for 1,000 units. Then I set a goal for apartment buildings. And then I realized, where is this going? Why am I doing this? And I realized, maybe it's because I'm 40-something years old. I'm realizing that life is just to need to be enjoyed. Someone needs to hear that today. It doesn't matter that you have a badge on that says that you're the number one realtor or you are the best football coach. It really doesn't matter. It's just about, does your family know you? And every moment, are you enjoying life? Don't get in circumstances that are just jamming your game up. So I realized, let's just say you are jammed up and you are frustrated and you don't know where you should go next, or how do you get back? And I realized I learned this or figured it out a while back, and it's like, go back to where you came from. I always think this way: where did I come and where am I at? Man, I came from nothing, right? So perspective. If they take everything from me, the IRS. I started with nothing. It's not like I can't rebuild. But, you go back to the fundamentals. If you're playing basketball, I've been playing basketball lately, and I was like, and I've been working with this dude, and it's about the fundamentals. It's the footwork. It's the drop step. It's the pivot. It's your hips are right. Is your elbow under the ball? Is it off your palm? Right? Fundamentals. Back to the basics. So I realized that in business, right, you can get colluded. You can start new businesses and get distracted and fail in one area and maybe dismal success in another area, or great success, and then you go up and down, up and down. But I realized, how do you get back to superstardom in your own life? Well, first of all, you got to define your own life. What do you want it to be like? But for me, I realized that Jim Rohn audiobook, Bang, Bang, got me back to just thinking about philosophy. Where is this going? Who am I become? This is what my life by design should be. So that's what I've learned in the trenches so far, is go back to where you came from. Not physically, but like, how did you get to where you come? What books have impacted you that you've read that you could reread? I know I used to be so prideful. I'm only going to read that book one time. That's just dumb. It's incredible. It sparked with my wife. She started reading Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. But in my mind, I don't got time to go back. I got to move forward. A lot of people, we just think about the future, but we're not thinking about the now or where you came from. And I could just see that book transform my wife in front of me. And I never gave her that book. It was crazy. We were at her dad's house. It was at her dad's bookshelf. She took it off the bookshelf. She started reading it. It started transforming her. And then it started transforming her philosophy. And then it just spread onto me. And I was like, man, it's got to go back to the basics. You got to go back and start where you came from and start now. Do it now. Like, I know a lot of people, like, they buy one audiobook, they start it, and I'm there. I'm that guy. But listen, if one audiobook for 5 minutes that costs you $15 can get you motivated, by far, I approve. Get it done. Go download that audiobook on Audible. I definitely recommend right now The Ultimate Collection from Jim Rohn. Now, it's $49 on there, you cheap investors. It's okay. You can be a member for $14.95 a month on Audible. I should get credit for this. And you can get that one Audible book and then cancel your membership or whatever. But start today. Get back up on the deal. Start the week fresh. Spend 30 minutes. Listen to Jim Rohn. I promise you by Friday, you'll be a different person. Another thing that I learned in the trenches just recently is I normally would just do stuff and figure it out later. And a lot of people have analysis paralysis. They just stop, okay, or they don't feel like they have enough information. See, I think my success is based on I'm just going to figure it out as I go. Oh, what about the risk? What if you lose? That's okay. I'm just going to figure it out as I go. I'll just learn to make more money later. But one thing I did learn just recently, which is just incredible, because, I had a nickname. One of my homies used to call me Trigger, because I just pulled a trigger. If I come up with an idea, boom, we're going to do it. We're going to do Racetrack Rumble. This is crazy. But I realize you got to dig deeper. That's the word. I don't know. Hopefully somebody could say amen with me, but dig deeper. If you want to start a new business, dig deeper. Now, when you start this new business or new venture or buy a new house, get an inspection, dig deeper. Now, when I say dig deeper, that doesn't necessarily mean you should get out of the game because you found some details that you may not have thought of that shouldn't make you restrictive in what you should be doing. But I think someone needs to hear, and I do myself, if I dig deeper, I can make better decisions. I can write a better plan. I have better content to move forward with. I dig deeper. Now, I realize this with relationships. Man, I'm this fair weather somebody. I meet somebody, I fall in love with somebody quick style. Like, yo, homie, I love you. We're boys. And then I realize, after 3 months, the masks come off and then the reality sets in. I'm like, that individual is not what I thought they were. Or I thought that individual should be doing this, and I realized they don't have that skill. I want to hire this person, but I can't because I thought that they were like this, because I didn't dig deeper. And digging deeper means not necessarily deep, like get all up in the social security card or whatever. Digging deeper could be just time. Just time. Somebody, you need to hear that. Dig deeper. And just last week has been, something that really struggled with me. I had to walk away from my house. 20 years in real estate, and the first time in my life, I said, I want to buy your crib. And then I said, no, I can't buy your crib. Man, that just affected me personally. But I realized through that pain and through that sorrow, and I learned this from some great friends, get inspections, VanCauwenbergh. And I realized just like a couple houses ago, I didn't get an inspection, and this mother house needed 20-something piers. It stung me so bad that I'm paying retail. Now, I'm a real estate investor. We just don't pay retail. The word investor is to make money. You don't pay retail. But, through not getting an inspection, from not digging deeper, I'm paying retail. Wow. So don't fall into this is what I'm learning in the trenches. And let me tell you this, too. Something else I just learned. If you are an investor, you got to make money, period. Story ends right there. If you want to do real estate on the side and be, for fun, a recreation, or for your retirement, but if you are a real estate investor or an investor of sorts, you've got to make money. This is a serious game. This is not for the faint at heart. And if you want to do it and be a real investor, you got to make money. You can't just do things because you think they're smart or you think they're right. You may think that. But imagine that you're running a hedge fund. Imagine that you're a manager of your family. You're a steward of what God has allowed you to be. You got to make money. All right. The talents in the Bible. All right. Here's another one. And this is just this is a good one. I may have said this once before, but this has just affected me. Casual makes casualties. Now, that's probably from Jim Rohn. Probably because Jim Rohn is all up in my grill right now. But here's the deal. Being casual, you will equal casualties. I'm going to call that person back. You're going to lose a deal. Being casual brings casualties for yourself and for the folks around you. Like, for example, if you're casual with paying your bills and you don't pay your bills, next thing you know, you get late fees. That late fee is pure profit, pure bottom line. And guess what? You ain't an investor because you ain't paying attention. You can't be casual if you want to be an investor. Another one, number 4 or 5, I lost track here. Growth is painful. Man, I'm telling you, 44, I think I got it on lock. I don't. I realized just recently you got to cut bad people out of your life quicker. And I realized that growth is painful and it hurts and you lose money. But is it going to make you better? And you got to get rid of toxic people. And you know there's somebody in your life that's toxic. You're trying to convert them to something, or you're trying to help them. You're trying to give them a ride. You're trying to help them financially, whatever the case may be. They're just toxic. They're just, as soon as that transaction happens, that it seems like a never-ending deal. Let me tell you right now, cut that cat out. That person, girl or guy, is hurting you. It might be your boyfriend or girlfriend. It might be someone in your workforce. You know, I met this awesome friend of mine. I had to talk about this a long time ago. He's like, get rid of the devil. Cut the toxic people out. Here's another thing I learned in the trenches. Business life is not easy, but you need to do it. And you need to be flexible. You need to be strong. And stand and don't give up. Someone needs to hear that. I mean, I'm telling you, sometimes the littlest things kind of affect people, and we kind of just whimper. We just like, boop, okay, I'm just going to take. No, stand strong. Bank says no, you keep going. You stand up and say, which is another bank. When you get declined, when someone hurts you, you stand up and you be flexible and you move on. And you got to leave that cat behind and you move on. All right. Another thing, cultivate relationships. Man, I see this more at 44. I hope that I can translate this to my family. Hopefully that you get this one. But I'm telling you, you got to cultivate relationships. Relationships yield. You need to make that call. You need to send that text. Don't leave it to chance. Make sure, I met someone that was I just got burned by somebody that kind of affected me. I don't know why this individual affected me. It's just crazy how weird things can affect certain people. And I got to understand, I got to be sensitive. When someone comes up to me and they're hurting and I think it's whack or I think it's small time, it could be big time in their world. Well, this something happened to me, kind of burned my deal up. And I was like kind of frustrated for a couple of days. And then I realized I started coaching myself. I had to tell myself what to do. And I was like, yo, Stephen, this could affect your family. Wouldn't you be juiced up if this affected? Now, this is affecting you personally. Is this affecting your family? If it's affecting your family, you rise up. And I was like, yeah, I'm rising up. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to get that toxic person in my life. Well, and then the Lord brought a great friend in my life. And it was encouraging to me that I relatively just knew. I mean, I just met for kind of like the second time, and it was like a breath air. And I realized I need to respond to this dude and thank him for just listening to my situation. I need to make that call, make that text. I don't need to leave it to chance. You got to take responsibility of your relationships, even though you may have an expectation that your friend should be calling you back. But you make that effort. You send that text, hey, homie, I really appreciate the time. It means a lot. Maybe we can get together in the future. All right, here's another one. Don't stop the disciplines. When you fall, get back up. All right, I mean, this is just me. Man, I was on lockdown on the disciplines and food and working out, and then all of a sudden got derailed Don't stop the disciplines. Get back on the team. Get back on the plan. If you got to rewrite the plan or you reset the goals, just get back up. Start today. I love Jim Rohn says the law, or Brian Tracy, the law of diminishing intent. I've said this 100 times probably on the radio. You guys are getting done with me. But, hey, if you want to lose weight, drop down and get those sit-ups on lock. Get that food out of your fridge, whatever it is. But don't stop the disciplines. And if you need accountability, be honest with yourself. This is your dream. This is your goal. You want to look blank, then do it. It might take blank, but you got to find that person, that accountability. You may need to write it down. You might need to get a whiteboard. You might need to get some markers. Whatever it is, go do it. Don't stop the disciplines. Okay. Now, this is for the parents. This is just what's going on in my life. I've been trying to do this podcast, and I just keep adding on to this throughout the week. It's been about 10 days since I've dropped the podcast. But accidental parenting. Man, I'm serious. Someone came in my life on an accidental parenting. What do you mean by they're parenting by accident? Like, you just not involved. Everyone is doing it, so it's okay. We'll just do it. And here, let me give you the sidetrack. This parent is telling me about their child is playing PlayStation, and there's this game that they're playing. They don't know anything about the game, but it's affecting their child. And then they just continue to let it roll because every other parent is letting their kid play that game. I don't even know the name of the game. And it's probably some sort of a shoot-up game, you know. I don't know. I don't even want to attempt to try. But the point is, that's accidental parenting. Get on the internet and Google that crap up and figure it out. What is this game doing to your child? I'm serious. It's a PlayStation game, and you know, you got to read the reviews. Find out what your children are reading. Find out what they're looking at on the internet. Find out what they're playing. Find out who they're talking to. Find out who's on their team. Get their phone number. Find that girl or boy that's being an influence, because obviously you're not being an influence. Accidental parenting is a disaster. And I'm glad I'm saying this. I know this sounds like I'm hypocritical, like, oh, VanCauwenbergh, you got it on lock. No, I don't. I don't have it on lock. I'm a new parent in my own world. I'm trying to be a dad. I'm trying to be a husband. Listen, but I'm telling you, when I got this from this individual, my heart just broke. I'm like, you don't even know? You don't know what video games that's going on? Like, here's a perfect example. So this is just in my own life. So my son had a few dollars. We went to the Dollar Tree. All right, yo, you can get 3 items. So my son gets a movie, a DVD. I was like, Bubs, what's that? Oh, that's a DVD. I said, yo, Bubs, we don't got no DVD player at the crib. Oh, it's okay, Daddy. Papa got one. I was like, that's just relentless. So I'm not paying attention. So I let him pick out his 3 items. Bang, bang, bang. He picks his 3 items, gets his little bag. We get in the car. Everything's all good. Everything's all gravy. We get to the crib, and I see the DVD on the counter, and guess what? It's rated R. My son's 7. Like, how's he going to watch a ninja movie, slice and dice, and he's 7? He's savvy. He was like, no, well, we're going to watch it at Papa's house. And, fun thing is, he's got a awesome Papa that's going to take him for a couple of days. And my Papa's a little old, don't really pay attention, doesn't really know about rated R, rated G, rated whatever. He's kind of cool. He let him watch Jaws. And it affected him. He had a couple of nightmares. 7 years old, watching 5, 6 years, you watching. I already seen the effects of not paying attention, being accidental. Oh, I'm gonna trust Papa to do it. Now, Papa's a great person, wonderful man, but is he focused? No. I took that DVD, got rid of it. Simple. I'm not an accidental parenting. You shouldn't be either. Now, the final point is just. It's just crazy. And I'm going to say this. I don't even know. I hope that whatever comes out of my mouth right now will be just uplifting. I pray that what I'm about to say is going to move you to do something, because this has affected me forever. This dude said this to me, and then I'm going to give you a little backstory on this real fast. He goes, I'm helping this dude out, and he's an amazing entrepreneur. And I'm honored to be working with this guy. Just decided to hire me to help him. And it's cool. It's not so much on real estate. It's about business. And he goes, and he's working a W-2 job. And he says, man, I want my 40 hours of my prime life back. And now this guy's not that old. I mean, I think he may be 30. I should ask people when I hire him, how old are you? So I can get a perspective. Are you still 18? Because everybody looks young and fresh. I'm assuming this dude's at least 30, maybe 28, maybe 34. I don't know, somewhere in that range. But he said, I want my 40 hours of my life, my prime life back. Now, that's interesting. You know, when I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, yo, let's go on a trip together. Hold on. Let me see if it's okay with my job. See, everything revolves around people's jobs. And let me tell you something. Your job doesn't care about you. And I just know this in close people in my life, been faithful for a company for 30 years, and they get hurt and they get let go and they're just jacked. And I just found out the other day, I couldn't believe this. When you retire in the United States of America, you have to wait 2 years before you can get Medicare. And that could be an Oklahoma thing or Oklahoma something. 2 years you have to pay COBRA, which is like $1,200 a month, right after you retire. I mean, talk about giving your life to a business or giving your life to the government. And what if you got hurt during those 2 years? I'm just saying, like, guys, hopefully this is that job ain't going to be there for you. So you should probably go on vacation, but you can't because it's the busy season. You know, if you're good at what you do, and if you work for me, I'm going to let you go because I don't want to lose you. If I care about you, hey, if you need to go on vacation and over Thanksgiving break, go ahead. Just help me find someone to replace you for that temporary situation, or maybe we can work on a training manual a little bit better. Maybe we can solve a problem, you know. But you should not do things because someone else told you to do them. You should not be able to. You should be able to go on vacation if you want to go on vacation. And if you don't get paid for that week, figure out how to make more money, do a side hustle. It should never be a motivator about money, and your life should not be revolving around someone else. This is your life. Live it by design. This is a one-time deal. You can't get your life back. This dude, he's so smart, 30-something years old. I want my 40 years of my prime. This dude's been grinding out 60, 80s hour a week for a W-2. And I'm just glad that he hired me, that he's got about 4 or 5, 6, I don't know how many properties he has now. He's got a side hustle rolling. His side hustle is making enough money we're at the point and working on his budget right now that he can get out of that slave job. And I'm going to say it like that. It's a slave job. Get out. Move on. Figure another way.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.